Okay, welcome to another day of pre-calculus. Today we're going to be finding the sum and differences of angles, or as I like to call it, the quest to find exact trig values. Because see, right now, we know how to find the exact values of sine, cosine, tangent, any of the 6 trig values, as long as it's a multiple of 30, 60, or 45, right? We can find all those. But there's a lot of other angles out there. For example, what about 75 degrees? What is its cosine? Well, before we get started, we need to be able to break these angles down. So the first task I have for you is to find 2 angles whose sum or differences is the desired angle, but you're going to be using multiples of 30, 60, and 45. So go ahead and pause the video here and then hit play when you figure out the answers. Well, 75, I would use 45 plus 30, because 45 plus 30 is 75, and 45 and 30 are multiples of the things we're dealing with. 15 degrees, I might say that is 60 minus 45. That would work. Or I could have done even 45 minus 30, right? That would have given us 15 also. For 165, I'm going to go 120 plus 45. Because again, 120, that's a multiple of 60. That would work. And then for our radian friend here, I think I would probably say that's going to be 3 pi over 12 plus 4 pi over 12. Because those things reduce to be pi over 4 and pi over 3. Again, 2 well-known angles that we have. Well, now that we have these, there's 3 formulas that you need to know to be able to find these answers. Here they are. You need to write these down. Now, pay attention to, like, for sine, if we're adding the 2 angles, then in the formula we're also adding. Or if we're subtracting, we're also subtracting, right? But if you notice in cosine that when we're adding the 2 things, we're really going to be subtracting them in the formula. And then vice versa for the subtracting and adding. And in fact, for tangent, it's a really weird one. When we're adding, we'll be adding in the numerator, but subtracting in the denominator. I'm going to hold you accountable to just these first 2 formulas. If you have to do tangent for me, I will supply the formula. So go ahead and pause the video and then write down these formulas so you have them. Well, here's our first one, sine of 75. Now earlier, we had said that is equal to the sine of 30 plus 45, right? Now notice we are not doing distributives. This does not mean sine of 30 plus sine of 45. That is a no-go, okay? We need to use our formula to get this. So it would be the sine of 30 cosine 45 plus, because again, when we're adding the 2 angles in this formula, we're adding these 2 pieces, cosine of 30 sine 45. Well, 1/2 times root 2 over 2. And then cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2. Sine of 45 is root 2 over 2. If we multiply this out, root 2 over 4 plus root 6 over 4, which is square root of 2 plus the square root of 6 all over 4. That is the exact answer for the sine of 75 degrees. So part of our quest is done. 1 angle done, probably 320 more to go. Let's try another one. Let's look at this one, cosine of 15. Now we have 2 different ways to get the 15. I'm going to go ahead and do the 45 minus 30. I'm going to say this equals the cosine of 45 minus 30. Okay. And then using our formula, that will be the cosine of 45, cosine of 30. Now we need to be careful because when we're subtracting the two angles, we need to make sure we are adding in our formula. Sine of 45, sine of 30. Okay, put in our trig values. Do our multiplication. Add them up. And we have our exact answer for the cosine of 15 degrees. Okay, one more here. Sine of 165. Here's our formula for sine. And I think earlier we had said this was equal to this, we said it equaled the sine of 120 plus 45, right? So let's do our formula first. And again, when we're adding in the sine formula, we are also adding in our formula here. All right. Well, put in our trig answers. This one's going to be a negative 1/2 because we are in the second quad. Whoops, hold on a second. Yeah, okay, so, okay, and since we're in a second quadrant, sine is positive there. The cosine of 45 is root 2 over 2. Cosine of 120, well, the cosine of 120 will be negative root 3 over 2 because we are in the second quadrant. And the sine of 45 is root 2 over 2. Okay, we do our math. And there's the exact answer for the sine of 165. This is what you have to do. This is it.